Hello, you all. Welcome to this new edition of Lectio Musica, the place for great lyrics, great music, and great meaning. My name is Guylain Prince. I'm a Franciscan friar from Canada. As you can hear, French speaking first. And I love rock music forever, and especially hard rock, metal, and prog. Once a week, we stop here for half an hour, depends of the length of the song, the complexity of the song. And we read carefully the words, we listen to the song, and like this video, we try to understand the meaning of the song, what does this song talks about. And this week, you're up for a treat. Because last week I reacted, just before Christmas, I reacted to the song Ghost Love Score from Nightwish, the super great Finnish metal band, symphonic metal. And it was an epic reaction because the song is epic. It's probably, it's certainly one of the most beloved songs from the fans. But also, this is the one we introduce people to Nightwish. So I give you the screen and we will be able to follow all along that way, the words, the lyrics. It will be a long analysis. I invite you to go directly to the sections you prefer if you don't want to go through the whole song, because there's a lot of lyrics in that song. So we are finishing today. It is the first half of our journey through Nightwish repertoire. So the first half, more or less half, is 14 songs, what we call the Tarja era, the first singer of Nightwish. So we end that section today. The other albums of Nightwish will be covered next year in the fall. So, last song of our journey for now, first half. So, last week we did Romanticide, a remarkable song, and this is the reaction I did to last week. The studio version of 2004, the album was Once. End of an era, it's a famous live DVD of Nightwish, and live in Wacken 2013. The analysis of this song will be in English, as you already know. Don't forget, you can subscribe and click the little bell just beside. This song, Ghost Love Score, is quite unique in Nightwish's repertoire. First of all, it's part of a great album, Once. Secondly, ask anybody what are the top 5 songs of Nightwish, and I would say 98% of the time you will have Ghost Love Score among them, if it's not the first. It will be among the greatest songs of Nightwish, and some people think of this song to be one of the very best of symphonic metal. I tend to agree with them, even if my knowledge of symphonic metal is not as extensive as many of you. But one thing I can say for sure, this song touches me in a way that not many songs do. So I have a connection with that song. That's the one song that I was, I would say, introduced more deeply. I knew a little bit of Nightwish, but not much. But when I heard that, the Wacken version, I was introduced to a band now being probably my third favorite band. I still have a very dear place for Genesis and Yes, but Nightwish is right there after, and to me that's a lot. I listen a lot of music. I listen in my life to a lot of music, and for them to be so high is really unexpected for myself. But they are right there, and it's a beloved song from the for the fans, but also it's very often the song by which somebody will be introduced to Nightwish. So this analysis will become, I think, very handy for many persons who would like to go a little bit deeper in the musical construction as well as in the lyrics. The introduction. So if you haven't heard the song lately, just go back to the reaction video. At least listen to one of the three versions. You will hear there, especially the live versions, a very deep, profound drumming from Yuka. They are strong, they are deep, it's very epic, with full of orchestra and choir. It's I would say everything is there. Okay, very strong. Then there's a complete change of atmosphere. The song becomes very metal, very, very metal. Really, there's a it's striking right away. If you don't know symphonic metal, you are completely because before that it was pretty much like I would say movie music, but then this metal section brings you right in the heart, and then you hear the orchestra behind. Especially I remember some flutes, and you are just thrown into metal music suddenly, and it's quite effective. It's a beautiful blend of the two. And again, there's a change of mood. And we are waiting something. It's the beginning of the storytelling. The Seigneur arrives, and she begins by telling the origin of that ghost love. We used to swim the same moonlight waters, oceans away from the wakeful day. There is the origin of the ghost love that this story is about, this song is about. We were familiar to each other forever, and we swim in moonlight waters. During the night we swam, and I think it's all the teenagers at one point we like to go and swim. We go to the beach, we go to rivers, and we swim in the night. That's part of, I must say, of the rituals of youth. And in the night we swim, and then oceans away from the wakeful moment, wakeful day. Here is an indication of why this love is a ghost one. Because oceans away is not anymore a place. Oceans away is a time span very far, absolutely very far from the day I will be waken up. I will be waken up for real. And then, like I said, it's the origin of the ghost love. So the ghost love, this chorus will come back in the first and the last section of the song. And this is what you want to understand. This section is the one section you want to understand. Some people love very much and only the version of Floor. I tend to think that the choir in the studio version and in the original composition, in the mind of the composer, the choir has the best part in this. It's not the lead singer. The choir, in fact, delivers the whole meaning of the song. And this chorus is not only important at the beginning, it is capital at the end, the way it is sung by the choir. So, like I said, I absolutely love the Wacken version. But for me, to understand the composition of the song, the studio version is absolutely necessary. For me, there's no doubt that you don't understand that song if you don't at least understand and appreciate the studio version, because the key is there in this section here. And let's see it. My fall will be for you. My love will be in you. If you be the one to cut me, I'll bleed forever. My fall, I will fall for you. An expression, of course, if you know English, you know that I could die for you. I could die. I would give my life for you. But this is not what is written here. I will fall for you. And this could mean both the beginning, falling in love, or it could be a very dramatic ending, as in, I will personally fall because of you, or for you. I will lose it all for you. Okay? This is a very strong line. My love will be in you. In you. It can be understood two ways, and both are quite strong. My love, it relies or is living in you, as if I am not the subject of love. I only have love when I'm with you. So the secret of my love is in you. That could be it. But and I think there's an anguish here. There is anxiety here, because as if my love can only be for that very precise person. And this is confirmed by other songs in the past we saw. As if the person get the impression that without the other, I will never love again. You have that in 3 other songs of Nightwish. So this is really the understanding we can get from this. And if you be the one to cut me, if you're the one choosing to separate yourself from me, I will bleed forever. I will never heal. I will never heal from that. This is a terrible anxiety here about the other leaving. I will talk like the singer here. The other leaving me. If you leave me, I will bleed forever. I don't know how to receive that. Imagine that somebody tell you that. No, maybe some of you already experienced that. The other one tells you, if you leave me, I will die. It puts on your shoulders, if you are not able to put distance between these words and yourself, it puts on your shoulder the decision of cutting or not, knowing that the other person could die. And of course, most of the time, the other person does not die. But it happens sometimes that it turns very badly. The outcome is really bad, but not because of the decision to cut, like I say, but because the person is not able to cope with reality. So this paragraph is so key to the song because it's repeated endlessly. And we will go through it because the intensity of this chorus is it grows along the song. The second verse now. Scent of sea before the waking of the world brings me to thee in the blue memory. Now we are not at the beginning anymore. I'm later in that relation, and I am by the sea. And this, before the waking of the world, it could mean simply the very early morning. I am by the sea in the early, and I remember what? I remember when we were swimming together. You see? So the first verse is a memory. This is the present. I see this scent, and then I relive this moment we were swimming together for a long time apparently. And it makes me think of you. It makes me think of you. And here is your key. Here's another key. The blue memory that we saw in many Nightwish songs is the memories of you and me together. You get it here? Brings me to thee into the blue memory. The blue memory is those beautiful moments we spent. Maybe they are referring to the swimming in the sea, but I suggest to you that it's a larger picture. It's when we were together, and the sea is an illustration of that, and maybe a key word to illustrate this beautiful communality. I don't know how to say that. Communion, maybe fusion, which would not necessarily be a good thing in terms of spiritual and psychological, but we will come back to this a little bit later. And then my fall will be in you, and my love will be fall for you in you, and you will. Let's do that again. My fall will be for you, my love will be in you. If you be the one to cut me, I'll bleed forever. Again, repeated 2 times. But with this line from the soloist into the blue memory, a reminder of the previous verse. So this, for now, this verse, this chorus is plunged into the blue memory. For now, everything is, I would say, still serene in a way. There's a change of mood again, and the storyteller comes back. A siren from the deep came to me, sang my name, my longing. Still I write my songs about that dream of mine, worth everything I may ever be. A siren. Well, you know what is a siren? A siren is this mythological creature living in water, but being able to relate and to seduce man. It has been said that sirens many times they seduce man, and then the man died in a way. You see the connection here? She came from the deep, but what is the deep? The deep blue memory. So like a siren comes from the deep ocean, from the deep blue memory comes a siren. So they probably, when they were swimming together, there was not a love connection or love interest as such. There was just great, wonderful, beautiful communion. But from this communion, there's a person emerging, and a siren sings. So the siren come from this deep communion, and she sang my name, my longing. She sang to me, and she sang everything that I desired most deeply, my longing, what I desired so deeply. So she expresses my own life, my own inner life. And she sings, she sings what? I write my songs. So she sings my songs. And I write my songs about a dream of mine, about a dream I have. And what is that dream? And this dream worth everything I may ever be. Why is that so important? Because he understands that the songs are treasures from this. And the songs, they express the best part of him. And maybe they worth everything I will ever be as a person. So my songs, they will last me in a way. I will be dead, my songs will still be there. So maybe my song will be the only thing left of me. But it's a beautiful thing to say. Poets, I think, writers, they believe pretty much that. Now, I may ever be, maybe there is a regret in here expressed. The fact that in my life will not be as beautiful as my songs. The child will be born again. That siren carried him to me. First of them true loves, sitting on the shoulders of an angel without care for love and loss. The child will be born again. In the context, for me, there is no doubt. The dream of mine that we saw just before is the awakening of a dreaming self, of someone dreaming about being with probably the siren. Okay, so there is we all live that. Look at me now. I remember, you remember when we fall in love. There is a new birth, the child. Of course, this new birth could also evoke, in a way, a child coming from the union of the two persons. Yeah. But born again here, I suggest that it is a rebirth into adulthood, or maybe late teenage years, of a possible love with someone. I become again candid, naive, a little bit romantic. I would say that's the meaning of child here. And the siren carried him to me. It means that she is the one who brought this part of me. That would be my first guess. It's beautiful, eh? It's beautiful here. First of them, through loves, for me, this is the indication that the child is a true love. But here is a first of them. So is it the possibility that there will be other loves, or maybe other kind of loves? Maybe also, The first of them, true love, he is the first fruit of our love. That could be also. And of course, if we carry that into family life, the love of the parents, of course, brings other loves as being children. So the firstborn here is the man himself talking to the siren. He is the firstborn of their encounter as a new person in a way. But there might be, or there should be, and I think this is what is implied here, that this love of mine, this rebirth of mine, will give the best of me into that relation, and maybe little ones as well. That would be my first guess here. But this firstborn, this first love, is sitting on the shoulders of an angel without care for love and loss. I suggest to you that the angel is the same character as the siren, because the siren carried the child, and now the child is sitting. In a more recent version, it's singing, but it's the same. The siren and the angel carries the child. I had an idea. I don't know what you think, but the child could also be the band Nightwish. I don't know if the band Nightwish being born of old friends and something happening within themselves, among themselves, and the singer carrying in a way the band. I don't know if you ever thought of that interpretation. That would not be my first understanding, but certainly my second. The child being the I would say the fruit of the band members, and maybe especially artistically of the composer and the singer. That could be another understanding here. But anyways, the child is sitting on the shoulder of the siren angel without care. At the time, the child didn't have any care for love and loss, because the child just came on the shoulder and singing and happy and so on. So at the time, there were no especially preoccupation with the loss. Then there is the solo melody, beautiful solo made by Empu here. It's a very close to the melody and very tastefully played. We enter in the section what I call the child is on the angel's shoulders, because I've noticed that with Thomas is most of the time the instrumental section expresses the words that he has just been said, or prepare us for the words, the coming words. For me, this is the section, the child is on the shoulder, and probably something beautiful is happening between the grown man, the siren, and the child. I hear it like this. What do you think? Felicity, but and this should be in a way the great conclusion. They were happy ever after, and there is no. There is a break in that felicity, and then suddenly there's a completely new situation. Bring me home or leave me be. Like, what happened? What happened here? My love, in the dark heart of the night, I have lost the path before me. The one behind will lead me. And it's repeated 2 times. So, bring me home. Well, the home here in that song, there's no doubt. It's the blue memory. It's the beginning of the song. Bring me home or leave me be. Okay? What happened to the fact that you are, my love is in you? What happened? What is the turning point here? And here, bring me home or leave me be, my love. It doesn't make sense. It will be bring me home and leave me be, comma, my love. The person is talking to the siren or the other one. In the dark heart of the night, it happens. Something happens in the dark heart of the night. And dark heart of the night has two meanings. You know that. Because in his writings, a Northman with very long nights in Finland, we know that in Canada as well. It could be in the middle of intimacy, in the middle of a moment of great intimacy, and then there is something, an outburst of some kind, or it could be dark heart of the night will be it happened in the middle of darkness, here being a moment of complete not despair, but I don't see the light here. Both are possible. I have lost the path before me. Because of what? Because of what just happened. I don't know what just happened, but there's a turning point here where suddenly it is not what just was just before. And because suddenly there's some kind of break, there's a cassure in here, I lose the path before me. Everything I have planned, everything I have seen, my dreams, my plans for the future are, I lose everything now. I lose everything. The one behind will lead me. It's the only thing holding me is what I've had until now. So there is, I will continue, I will go on what I have been, on the path I have been until now, even if I don't see anymore the outcome. Okay? And then there is this, there's a tension and there's an expectation. Everything has changed. We are not in the felicity anymore. We are expecting something. Seems to me as if the bubble burst, or when a balloon is a, as if the little expectation the writer had at that time is kind of fading away. And then, especially Floor's version here, she takes a completely different voice. Take me, cure me, kill me, bring me home, every day, every way. And in the original version, just another loop in the hangman's noose. It is such a powerful, I understand why they removed it. It means simply, take me, cure me, kill me. Every single element of power you have in that song is in the other's hands. Take me, cure me, kill me. You can do whatever you want out of me. Bring me home, but every way, every day, you just add a loop in the hangman's noose. You have there the incoherence of someone who has been separated from an unwilling separation. There's something you don't want to have to happen to you. And then the other person has all the power on you at that time, this period when you are very fragile. um, Take me, cure me, kill me, bring me home. If you keep seeing that person, you are always in these emotions constantly, like like loop in the hangman's, with a final outcome here that looks like death. I feel like the only outcome for the composer is death. you know and again, it's repeated so strongly: take me, cure me, bring me home every day. Because, and why is all of this is so painful? I keep on watching us sleep. I still have that memory of us sleeping together. It's excruciating. It's extremely painful. Here I suggest to you that you remember swimming in the moonlight waters and the blue sea. If there is a union between a man and a siren, the bed would have to be the sea, no? I wonder if the blue memory is not us being in bed together. I suggest that to you. Make whatever you want of it. Relive the old sin of Adam and Eve. Well, the old sin, if it's your partner, if the person is a partner, it's not a sin at all. But I know that in popular language, the making love act seems to be a sin. In the original text, it's not the case, but this is the way we carried it through centuries. So the making love of you and me, it repeats, in other words, what has been written before. And forgive the adoring beast. The adoring beast here is a reference for many songs, Beauty and the Beast, the Beauty of the Beast as well, but others, the wolf's eyes. The adoring beast here is a clear indication of the fascination the siren has on the person here. But since the breakup, the child isn't there anymore. Now it's the beast about to react to that. And we can understand that when someone breaks up from us, of course it brings anger, and I can understand that language as well. Now, what follows to me is the expectation of the adoring beast. He still dance, he still expects, he still wait for maybe a turn of event. I don't know, but again, there's this mood change. Return to expectation, still dancing. Another mood change, and there's the staccato notes of the intro. Here is the situation. The song is moving towards this precise moment in time, and there's this bizarre, very bizarre drum transition, like I would call this a beginner's transition, and we all know that Yuka is no beginner. Why does he play it like this? It seems so awkward, so bizarre. I think it means Reality check. There will be no love. There will be no grandeur. There will be no little ones. There will no. Reality check. And there's a prayer. The adoring beast sends a prayer to the siren angel. Redeem me into child. Bring the child in me. It's not there anymore. So save me by bringing me back to childhood. Show me myself without a shell. The beast is probably a shell. The real me is the childlike person, like the advent of May. I'll be there when you say, time to never hold our love. He is still waiting. Even after the reality check, the adoring beast is still waiting, still expecting, still hoping. Wow. And I'll be right there. Whenever you say time to never hold our love, when you will say that, I will arrive like the advent of May. I will arrive like full blossoming flowers and so it's quite a song. Quite a song. My fall will be for you. It's repeated, and in the original song it's a loop going fading. It doesn't end. I must say here that the choir part of the studio version is, to me, exceptional. I miss it in the Wacken version. I really miss it. They chose to, and I understand very, very well the choice. When you made a recording of a full orchestra and choirs and you already cashed in, we say it. We already used these back tracks for the studio version, for the live versions with Tharia. I understand that you dim down this because you already used these tracks on 2 recordings. So I understand. You want to do a new blend. You want to do a new interpretation of the song. They chose for this section to bet everything on floor. So they dimmed the chorus by the choir. And then Yuka and Floor becomes, like I said, the big stars of this ending. It's fascinating. And I understand that in terms of a new product. You want to bring something new in a new edition of a song. But I still miss that we cannot hear the key of the song. This chorus for me is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So in terms of music, this is a metal song. It is a very complex metal, instrumental and musical piece altogether, and song. The mood swings are typical of movie scores. This is not, I would say, a more classical approach or a metal approach. It really is typical of movie music. You have mood changes very, very fast from one scene to another. This is the case. Here we move from the past to the present, to a certain present and to a more recent present. there is the epic grandeur of all love story, but it's the epic grandeur of what could have been in that love story. But there is also the other dimension, is the tragic and anticipated outcome. The person knows how it will end, but expect for a turning point of some kind, but it does not come. It does not come. In terms of lyrics now, in poetic language, there's a deep connection between two persons, beginning in a very, I would say, in a very naive, childlike relation, and but it did not develop itself as expected. As a young adult or as a teenage, there was something new. There was a romantic self that was called by the siren and carried by the siren. But the net result is that it's a ghost love. It's a love that did not end the way great love stories normally end. This is how it, all these love stories, they fell in love, they got married, and they lived happily ever after, like we see in child stories. I would say half of the romantic comedies in Hollywood, they ends with a beautiful conclusion, and then they love, and you think that it will go on like that. The normal outcome would be a great love, a great union, a great whatever marriage, and then they will be happy. But the song says it didn't happen like that at all. It's a love that began with high expectation, with grandeur and beauty, but something something happened that it fell like into pieces, and just a simple thing, a simple word from the other would just make it birth again, but it doesn't happen. The adoring beast is still dependent of the answer of the other. This song is about the devotion of a person for another one. Devotion here is not too strong of a word. It is what it describes, a devotion. Deep expectation based on past experience, maybe childhood experience, young teenage years experience, but also a deep preoccupation about the impact of being cut away by the other. I will bleed forever if you cut me. The only ability of the poet, the adoring beast, is waiting, writing songs, and bleeding. There's nothing that the adoring beast does in that song. Completely passive, expecting an answer from the other. The other has all the keys for the happy conclusion of that song, for the rebirth, for the deep connection in the original blue sea, in the night, in the everywhere, and yesterday and today. The other has all the keys, all the capacities. Everything is in the siren's hands. So this song is both a celebration with grandeur, with breadth of what happens in a person in love. But there is drama as well. Hearts can be broken. There's also in that song the incapacity to change in front of a non-responsive partner or expected partner. There is an incapacity to deal with the no of the other. It's extremely painful, if not deadly. The song suggests 2 times that it is deadly. I will bleed forever, and the Hangman's Loop. So it is the music of a ghost love, and a ghost love here means a love that did not end like it should have been. And maybe it's also, ghost love suggests that it was only from one side. So one person dreamt of something, but it was not reciprocal. That could be another meaning of ghost love here. To me, there is a big question here for me in that song. For French speaking, we all adore Jacques Brel, Ne me quitte pas. We all like this beautiful and great song. This is the metal version of Ne me quitte pas. All the keys are in the other's hand. Not to say and now I talk to you as a man of today, this is a lot of power given to the other one. And when I say a lot of power, I mean too much power. As if you don't exist. So this is why I call this, like Ne me quitte pas, fusion songs. I do not exist without the other. And a love relation with that mindset, I don't think it's a good one. I don't think it's a lasting one. It is bound to break. At some point, the other person will not accept this kind of devotion or adoration, will want to break free from that. And for the sake of the person living that situation, you don't want to keep that situation. You have to outgrow yourself in a way. The solutions are multiple, but you cannot stay in that kind of devotion towards the person. So I would say it's a fusion song where my own individuality is nothing but a response to the others. But that's all I have to say about that. Next week we begin on the 6th of January. We begin with Rush, the Canadian band, the great Canadian band, reaction videos with a premiere on Wednesdays, 1:30 in Canada and 7:30 in Europe, Western Europe. Friday or Saturday I will do the analysis like this one in English. You can always subscribe. You can always push the little bell so that you will be notified as soon as a new video comes out. As for me, I have just the occasion to wish you the very best new year. 2020 has not been a great year for many of us. May this 2021 the best, be the best. As for now, we stop for a little while with Nightwish. We have done the Tarius era. We will begin in the next fall. Annette's and Floor's period. And we will continue. It will be a wonderful journey. And until then, have a great year. See you. Bye-bye.